What's going on, everybody, and welcome on into episode number 252 of the Garage Beers podcast, brought to you proudly here on the OBR streaming network, the Orange and Brown Report, your home for the best Browns coverage in all of Cleveland. Plus, you get to hang out with us on Tuesday nights and talk about not just the Browns, but the Blue Jackets, the Cavs, the Guardians, and so much more. So we're glad you're here. We're glad you're hanging out as we are ready for a big-time episode 252 of Garage Beers. We're getting ready for the Stadium Series in Columbus that we are going to be at and going to get you all kinds of great content from. We're talking about a big week for the Cavaliers. We're talking about the NFL Draft Combine and so much more. So we're glad you've joined us here. As you're watching us here, make sure you're tuned in to our socials at the Garage Beers on Twitter and Instagram and all the socials. And make sure you're following us everywhere else as well, as we've got a big week planned. Tonight, it's just Chad and I hanging out with you, getting ready to drink some beers and talk sports. But I'm going to tell you what, especially if you're getting pumped for this Stadium Series game, I'm going to make an announcement before the end of the show tonight for a special guest that we're going to release a special interview on Friday with a special guest that if you're a Jackets fan, if you're ready for the Stadium Series game, you're not going to want to miss it. So I'll talk about that before we leave. But listen, with you as always, I'm your host, Michael Keefe. Joining me, my co-host over on the east side of Cleveland, it's Chad Meyer at Garage Beers. Chad, what's up, buddy?
How we doing? Everybody having a good day?
Yeah.
You know who's not having a good day?
The Dallas Stars.
Steve Smith Sr.
Oh, no.
Man, talk about getting put on blast. That dude posted his phone number, too. Just took a video and posting his phone number. Ugh. I mean, that's what you get. He deserved every bit of it. But, you could tell. It was just one of those, like, he was still trying to maintain, like, a toughness, but, like, he knew he fucked up, so he was just sitting there and taking it. And he just goes, I'm sorry. It's
tough.
Yeah.
It's a tough
but, yeah, dude, speaking of that,
We've stopped banging dudes' wives.
I know, pretty much. That's probably a good way to not get those type of phone calls. Little fun fact for you. I know we're going to get into it in a second here. Jake Ottinger, goalie for the Dallas Stars, his line against the Jackets in the last 10 games, 9-0-1 with a 1.77 goals against average. Jackets are cutting into that a little bit tonight. Let's go.
It's been a little different tonight.
Now,
as we join you live at this beautiful 9:00 hour on this Tuesday night, Blue Jackets currently leading the Dallas Stars 5-3. What a win that would be for the Jackets.
Yeah.
The Stars are one of the premier teams in the NHL at this point. And when the Jackets just a couple weeks ago, when the Jackets were down in Dallas handled them pretty easily. And so what a win this would be to bounce back.
Yeah.
Cavaliers are up big on the Orlando Magic as, again, they're in a big-time week. So that's kind of where we're at. Like, this is a really fun week for, like, just a random-ass February week.
Right.
In both of the sports leagues, right? You got the Jackets with a premier game against the Stars as they ramp up towards the Stadium Series game against the hottest team in hockey, by the way. And then you got the Cavs. They got to play the Knicks last weekend, the Grizzlies, who are the number 2 team in the West on Sunday. You get the Orlando Magic. We know that matchup and how tough that can be for the Cavs. And then it culminates on Friday with a game against the Boston Celtics in Boston. So big-time weeks for our two teams that are really in the middle of their seasons right now, Chad.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, Jackets still have to hold on here. I mean, no lead is too comfortable against the Stars. I mean, they're up 5-3 right now. James Van Riemsdyk had a sweet tip in, but Dallas is now on the power play. So, I mean, they got to put together these last 13 minutes and be a little tighten up defensively and see if they can get another one. But yeah, right now the Jackets are in a sweet position against one of the premier teams, and personally my Stanley Cup favorite. But we'll get to that at a later date. Cavs, yeah, and then Cavs, yeah. I mean, it's the entire conversation right now is surrounding the Cavaliers in Boston out of the East. So it's going to be quite the measuring stick game for them coming up on Friday. And it's going to be it's what a week for both our teams right now.
Listen, we'll talk more about it, but how about just to go back to the Jackets game really quick? How about the Jackets killing off a 4-minute power play before the end of the series?
Huge. And you know it's so, and you know how you can tell this is a different team. This is a different Jackets team. You see the emotion. Are you watching it right now?
I got the Cavs on.
Okay, yeah.
I'm in Maryland. I don't know if you could tell, but I'm not at home.
Right.
So I'm in Maryland. And the Cavs game is on TNT, so I can watch that.
Gotcha. Yeah. No. But after that Van Riemsdyk tip in to go up 5-3 against the Stars, you just see a lot of fist pumps. You just see a lot. Dean Evison on behind the bench, just fist bumping his coaches. Like that's part of just this new regime that he's brought in to this Jackets team, that he's infused into this Jackets team. The emotion that he shows. Right? It's okay. I mean, you can be a tough guy, a tough coach, and still show emotion, still show excitement when your team does well. And that's exactly what he's doing tonight. It's a huge game for the Jackets. Huge.
Yeah.
Huge.
Well, I love it. Listen, man, we got a lot to get to. We got all that stuff plus more we're going to talk about. But, Chad, we can't get into episode 252 rightly here on Garage Beers without talking about our Garage Beers of the week. So, Chad, why don't you kick us off, man? What is your beer of the week this week?
In honor of Steve Smith, I'm going with Three Hose. There it is. Yeah, Three Hose. Yeah, woohoo! From Saucy Brew Works. It's just a good Christmas ale, and it's the weather outside. You don't need to be warmed up by beers anymore because I think it might have broken. Knock on wood. I think the weather might have broken. Knock on wood. But it's still a tasty beer. And with the weather breaking, Mike, by the way, we're just that much closer to doing these shows on the porch again, and I can't wait.
Well, I love it. Hey, I didn't think we were going to have a special guest, but I just landed us a special guest that's going to jump on with us in about 2 minutes. It's one of the OB's finest, but we're going to get, I'm just announcing it right now because it just happened. We're going to get a live combine check-in with our very own Fred Greetham for about 10 minutes. And he's going to tell us about, especially we heard from Andrew Berry today at the combine. So maybe get some thoughts from Fred Greetham, our legendary OBR reporter for the Browns. He's going to jump on with us.
Going to tell us about guys in shorts. I cannot wait.
Well, you know what? Andrew Berry said a lot of things in his interview today.
Sure.
So before I just sent him the link. So Fred's going to jump on soon. Gregory's having ice cold Patron with pineapple juice over ice and a devil's backbone.
Whoa, what?
Shout out to you, Gregory.
What?
I don't know what any of that meant.
That sounds like an NFL play. Like, right? like. All
right, guys, we're going to go out there and we're going to run the ice cold Patron, pineapple juice.
Yeah. Devil's backbone is the protection.
Yeah. My beer is out of Sandusky. And it's called the Double Dragon, and I love the can art.
That was amazing. Yeah, I saw that at your party this weekend, and yes.
So this is from Clag Brewing in Sandusky, Ohio.
Yeah.
And I am ashamed to say that I'd never heard of Clag Brewing.
Yeah.
Until my birthday party this week, which, by the way, shout out to Sean, who came out and said, happy belated birthday, Mike. Listen, I usually don't overdo my birthday, but man, I turned 40. I'm excited to be alive.
It's a big one. It should be celebrated. It's a big one.
And it was, we celebrated a bit. So shout out to you, Sean. Appreciate it, man. A couple of my buddies came in from Toledo and they stopped in Sandusky at Clag Brewing and they grabbed a few beers for me. And one of them is Double Dragon, which is, again, it's a double IPA. And the can art is amazing. I don't know about you, but one of my favorite games to play growing up was Double Dragon.
Yes.
I love that game. This is what it looks like. And it's delightful. So
what type of beer? Can't remember. Did you say what type it was? Double Dragon?
Yeah, it's like a double IPA.
Okay. Top five in no particular order. Double Dragon, Double Dribble, Blades of Steel. I mean, obviously
Contra.
Mario Brothers games. Tecmo Bowl, and an Excite Bike.
Ooh,
that's six.
Bike's a good one.
That's six, but no particular order.
I think you left Contra out, but that's okay. I'm going to forgive you for it.
Yeah, I wasn't a big Contra guy. I didn't like it.
How dare you? Those are our garage beers of the week. You get into the comments. Let us know what you're drinking as you're watching us here, and we'll flash that up on the screen. But now it's time for us to get in to episode 252 of Garage Beers. And I said it. I just reached out to him, and he is giving us graciously a few minutes of his time. And I want to bring him in because there were some interesting things and some interesting stuff happening around the Cleveland Browns at the Combine today. And who better to talk about it with than a man that has been covering the Browns for as long as anybody, our legendary Fred Greetham. We're going to bring him into the Garage Beers podcast right now. Fred, welcome on in, man.
Hey, good to be here. Been a long day.
Probably.
I can imagine.
You've been covering the Browns probably for as long as Mike and I have been alive, right, Fred?
Okay. All right.
You're probably right. Were you born in the 80s?
Yep, sure was.
I started in 1981.
Ooh, the year before I was born. Man, you've got, I know we can't say them on here, but I'm sure the stories you got.
Oh, yeah. I was telling some tonight even.
Oh, Jesus.
You're welcome. You're welcome to tell some of them on here. It's fine.
Oh, boy. Yeah.
Well, Fred,
yeah, I'm a little foggy, right? Yeah, we started at 7:30. Had to get over there this morning, get our credentials, and I got two young bucks with me, and Brad Stainbrook and Noah Weiskopf. And so, yeah, we talked to Andrew Berry today at 1, but I sat in, Mike Vrabel talked, and a couple of the general managers that are drafting like ahead of the Browns, the Titans, and not the Titans, and then the Giants behind them. And it's funny because you listen to them, they all sound like a tape recorder. They all say the same thing. We could trade up, we could trade down. We're looking at everything, we think all the quarterbacks are great, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
But yeah. And so tomorrow we start interviewing the players. Abdul Carter's the highlight at 8:00, in the morning, and the defensive linemen, defensive ends, Mason Graham, all those guys are in the morning, and Kevin Stefanski's going to speak at 1. So got a big day again tomorrow. And then we'll just have the players and the quarterbacks talk Friday. So it's a full week. It's just like nonstop. I don't even remember how many stories I did today and videos, but it's just boom, 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 boom.
Now, when do the workouts actually start?
Friday and Saturday.
Friday and Saturday. Okay.
So, Fred, real quick, before we get into what you heard from Andrew Berry and Mike Vrabel and all that today, you talked about having Brad and Noah there. You're a guy that's been covering the Browns since 1981. And obviously we love having you on the OBR, and the OBR means a lot to you. It's got to be pretty fun to have a couple guys in their early 20s that you can kind of take under your wing and show them what the Combine life is all about, right?
Yeah, they've been here this is Brad's 4th, I think, and Noah's 3rd. I didn't go the last 2 years because I kind of pulled the veteran, card. The last time I was here was 22, and we were all getting ready for a big draft. And, and the Browns draft pick that year, we were talking to quarterback. Well, then right after the Combine, they made their trade for Deshaun Watson.
Yep.
And that kind of killed the draft, so they haven't had a pick for 3 years. And, when your first pick's 55, like it was last year or whatever, it's like you got to cover a lot of prospects to even hit the one or have a chance to hit the one. When you have the second pick, you got a pretty good shot to talk to that guy before they pick him, And so, so those guys, to be honest, they do a lot for me with the tech stuff, the video and getting my apps and finding parking spots and directions, walking around. I thought you did that in the car. I didn't know you did it but yeah, I went out to dinner with Brad and a couple other guys tonight, and I came in. Of course, they went out. The big thing at the Combine is everybody goes out to the hotel bars and sit around and talk to the agents. And it is, for somebody who's never been around this, it is surreal. You're walking down, and Andy Reid walks by. I was bumping into somebody and I turned around. I'm sorry. Oh, sorry. It was Andy Reid, and and
Did he
it's
say sorry to you?
what's that?
He should have said sorry to you.
Yeah.
Oh, he said Bumblewski.
Oh, yeah.
I said,
He was on
did
his
I
way
hear
to
that?
dinner for sure. He was on his way to dinner.
And so yeah, I walked by, two head coaches and a general manager, just kind of Raheem Morris, and it's stuff like it's just normal stuff here. They're kind of everywhere that you go because it's a confined area. So it's fun. Done this a while. I was in a restaurant about one of the last times I came. 7 different head coaches came in while I was in there eating. I mean, and one of them was Bruce Arians, and Brant Boyer was one of my best friends who was with the Browns, and he was, there was Steve Hayden, who was also one of my buddies when he's with the Browns, and he was on Bruce Arians' staff. So I'm just like, standing around talking to all these guys, and here comes Garrett from the Cowboys, and it's just that kind of stuff. It's just something you don't see anywhere else, and it's something that you appreciate as an NFL fan. A lot of people might not know who these guys are and stuff, but anyway, it's more that kind of stuff than like I don't even ever watch the workouts or anything like that. It's just interviewing the guys, and you get some clips and you get to know them a little bit, see their personalities. I mean, one of the notable ones was when the Browns had that number 1 pick, and it was Baker Mayfield and Josh Rosen and Josh Allen and Sam Darnold were considered the 4 guys. I was front row in front of all of them, and Baker Mayfield looked right in the face, said, "I'm the guy that can turn the Browns around." And you go, "You little smug dude." Well, he did. I mean, he is the only one that kind of to that point. But you get those kind of moments that kind of stick with you, and so it's fun. I don't know how many more. Hopefully, they're not picking at the top of the draft for a while after this, because it's it's a lot of work trying to keep up with all this stuff. I'm not the draft guru. I kind of hone in about the time you have to start getting to know it. I'd much rather look at free agents. I know what they've done. I know it just seems when you're looking at the college guys, it's kind of a crapshoot in a lot of ways.
So let's talk a little bit about
do you go to St. Elmo's, Fred?
No, I did
with
not.
The rest of everybody? I hear everybody goes to St. Elmo's.
Yeah. I'm with younger college guys on a college budget, and I can't pick up their tab every night,
Applebee's it is.
I went to Weber Street Grill tonight, or Weber Grill, and it's like I said, I know what a Weber Grill is. This isn't owned by them, is it? And they said it is.
Whoa!
And it's pretty cool. They had a display of all their grills and Pop Weber, and everything there. But it was very good. It had baby back ribs.
Oh, that sounds delightful.
Nice. It was really good.
Let's talk about what we heard specifically from Andrew Berry today as he took the podium and started talking about several topics. And obviously the main thing that's going to be on everybody's mind until there is a resolution is the Myles Garrett trade request and situation. And Andrew Berry got up in front of everybody, Fred, today and made it very clear, as he has done ever since the request came out, that the Browns have no intention of trading Myles Garrett. They are not going to do something that just makes them worse just because for the sake of it. When you listen to Andrew Berry talk about the situation, though, Fred, you've heard a lot of situations like this come and go. You've seen a lot of weird things happen with the team. When you hear the tone of Andrew Berry, and to me that stands out. When you hear his tone, and it just feels very resolute. Like, listen, there is no plan to do this. What is the sense? Like, what's your realistic take on how the Browns are kind of approaching this situation?
I take him at his word. Like there was, especially with the national media, that question was rephrased 7, 8 times, and his answer was the same. Even when we pulled off to the side and we do a little one that on our own, kind of the local medias, and it's kind of like, all right, Andrew, what do you really think? And he said the same thing. And, and it's what I've been saying since day one is that how does this make you better? Okay. How many times have we seen, everybody wants to get 5, 6, 7 draft picks. Think of the Carson Wentz trade, that the Browns made. They got like 7, 8 picks. It's a horror story of a list of the names on that. Corey Coleman, Sean Coleman. I mean, they were total busts. Oh, and it's like, why do people get so enamored thinking that they're going to get, okay, we're going to get Joe Burrow and Micah Parsons,
Right.
they're, but anyway, and this is where sometimes I just, I'm a little biased, obviously, because of OBR. Jack Duffin is spot on, knows exactly what he's talking about. And some of our bigger name reporters, especially even in Cleveland, don't know what they're talking about and just keep pushing the narrative. And it's like what I say, okay, why, if the Browns are going to trade Garrett for the financial, even if they said, Miles, we want to accommodate you. That's not our main goal, is to build a good team. Our goal is to make you happy. So whatever you want, you pick a team, we'll make it happen. We don't care. The Browns might as well just go to the NFL and say, we're going to forfeit the 2025 season. Right. And we just want Miles to have a good year,
Right.
It's like you can't do it. You got to cut half your team just to make it work and all these things. So with that being said, even with the talk about quarterback, when Matthew Stafford's talking about being available and he's talking about wanting 50 million or something like that, Barry was asked that in our thing on the side. The national scenario is the Browns are destitute. They might be able to sign Fred Greetham and Mike Keefe in free agency, and maybe even Chad, but they can't really go out. They can't really go out and get a legitimate free agent because they're so strapped. And Barry said, we are not cost prohibitive. We can go get whoever we want if they become available. And it's like, it just doesn't seem like, and this is what like Jack Duffin keeps writing and saying, that the way they're kicking it down the can, but by the bonuses up front, and that kind of stuff. But anyway, so it's a little frustrating. And I wrote that in that story tonight. I'm saying he's not batting an eye, because I asked him. They were very aggressive. If anything, the one thing you can give them credit, they were all in to get Deshaun Watson. And they felt that was it. They were totally committed. Total bad mistake, obviously, of epic proportions. But would you do whatever you have to do if you can solve the quarterback problem in free agency or in a trade? Will you explore? And he said, we will be very aggressive. We're all in. So that's what you want to hear, okay? I'd rather you be aggressive and say, well, we screwed up. We're never going to try that again.
Right.
Yeah.
So, those are the things that, that's what I think for Browns fans, the hope is that, maybe you can pull something off here and make the team, competitive and even, God forbid, compete for a playoff position. That's how the NFL's made. And I still contend that 1-6 start, whoever you want to blame, but Deshaun Watson was so bad. A lot of that 1-6 start was because of his play. If he'd have just had a drive once or twice in 2 or 3 of those games, they would have won at least 2 more games and been 3-4. And you don't know how the season's going to go. 1-6, you're buried and done. You're never going to make it. And everybody on the team knew it. And it felt and it spilled over to the defense, and and I just think it spiraled out of control to where it ended up.
Now, Fred, I'm curious, right? We've there's so much being made about this Myles Garrett situation. People think, he's going, he's staying, but a lot of people, the insiders, reporters, especially here at the OBR, are of the opinion that he's going to end up signing an extension out of all of this. So I'm curious. I'm really curious, and I'm talking like strictly maybe your advice to fans, right? But you as a reporter, right? You constantly have to read the tea leaves of in the NFL, of general managers, of players. And I guess my question is, what's the difference? Like, how do you know when you should read the tea leaves in something or take something at face value, right? Because, like, for instance, again, Myles Garrett, everybody thinks this is going to end in an extension with the Browns. But, like, say someone like Nick Chubb, who Andrew Berry said today he's going to hit the free agency market. Is that something like at face value, or do we need to read the tea leaves in saying that, Nick has an offer from the Browns. It's just, he can come back if he wants to. You see what I'm trying to say?
Yeah. Well, I was asked that, and a lot of headlines already of, Nick Chubb, Browns are walking away from Nick Chubb. It's like, first of all, I mean, I don't think anybody in that front office wants the most beloved player to just be thrown to the curb. But they're looking at business. He's coming off a devastating injury, and he was starting to come back. He, unfortunately got hurt, but his average was 3.3 yards a carry. I mean, that's half of what a Nick Chubb is. And so you can't sign him to a lucrative contract. I believe that it'll be very similar to last year, incentive laden. And I have no information on this, but I'm pretty sure they've talked to him and said, look, if you want to go look around, we give us right of first refusal, and they would match anything unless it's like off the charts. But why would you know how running backs are valued? He's 29, coming off 2 injuries that ended his season. I don't think he's going to be pursued heavily. A guy like Kareem Hunt, who still had a little gas in the tank, didn't get any offers last year, the last 2 years. And I think you talked about the tea leaves. Chubb has been in the building. I think he's still rehabbing. I mean, they talk about him like he's on the team, so the headlines might be Browns moving on, but I really don't. He said he wanted to end his career here. If he wants to play, and I don't know, but you cannot go into the off season when you're going to try to turn your running game into the vaunted running game. A lot of it had to do with Nick Chubb, and just say, well, we're hoping he comes back to go with Jerome Ford. You got to redo that room. And Ford might be okay to be the third or maybe even the second, but I think you got to seriously look in the draft this year with all these picks. He confirmed today they have 11 picks. One of those picks, maybe even 2, at the running back position. I don't know how high you go. I've been on record saying I don't think under Andrew Berry they're really going to use a high pick on a running back anymore. John Dorsey went in the second round on Nick Chubb. I don't know if they would go that high. But if you could get a Travion Henderson or a Quinshon Judkins or somebody in the third round, I think that would put you, in good company with a room like that, Ford and Chubb. So, and then if Chubb comes back the way, he's going to be the bell cow. But they just can't go into this off season saying we're going to go out and sign him. And if you sign him, then any free agent would say, well, they got Chubb, we're not going to come here. So I just can't see him moving on from him, and that's it. He's just, he goes signs with the Steelers because Mike Tomlin loves him. I just don't see that happening. I think that he would at least say, all right, this is what I was offered, and at least give the Browns a chance. but I don't think it's going to come to that really. But I don't know. I mean, Andrew Berry, is kind of went out of his way a little bit at the end of the season and this maybe to prepare Browns fans somewhat, but it's just hard for me. I'm just not reading it that way. I mean, when Kevin Stefanski said the favorite player is Nicholas Jamal Chubb, and
Right.
is open about this, I don't, if there's any hope that he can be what he was before, and I'm kind of, if anybody can do it, I think he could. I think he was getting better and better and better until he got hurt.
100%.
And after the whole off season, you never know.
So, Fred, just a couple quick questions before we let you out of here. The debate rages on, and obviously there's nobody knows what the Browns are going to do. And really, Fred, it feels like everything is on the table for these guys. It feels like trade downs are on the table. It feels like drafting a quarterback is on the table. It feels like drafting a non-quarterback is on the table. It feels like everything is on the table. You heard a little bit about Andrew Berry talking about, he brought up specific names. Obviously, Cam Ward, Shedeur Sanders got brought up. Abdul Carter got brought up. Travis Hunter got brought up. So there were a lot of specific names that got brought up to Andrew Berry. And we have to see how the testing goes at the combine. And frankly, I think more importantly than the physical testing are the interviews and how these guys kind of really come across to these teams, which I really think is the most valuable thing about the combine. But Fred, your sense as to the direction you think the Cleveland Browns are kind of leaning in their draft process as you hear Andrew Berry talk and you get some of the conversations kind of off to the side like you were talking. So many people are talking so definitively right now about what they think the Browns are going to do. Adam Schefter came out today and basically said the Browns are going to take a quarterback with their pick. But you've got plenty of other people that are tied into the Browns saying, I wouldn't be so sure about that. So not many people are as tied in as you, Fred. What's your gut feeling on how the Browns are approaching that number 2 pick?
Well, to be honest, I'm going to tell you, I've been around long enough to know that you can't believe anything you hear from any of them because they want as much mystery about the whole thing, even if first of all, they don't have the first pick. So they don't know what the Titans are going to do. The general manager today said they're going to look hard, and determine they got to solve their quarterback situation. I heard the Giants, who are behind the Browns, saying they got to solve their quarterback position and they will explore trading up if they need to. And so when it comes to Andrew Berry, I think they're going to we start seeing the cards get put on the table when free agency begins and what they go after. You sign a journeyman backup. Okay, I'm pretty confident they're going to draft a quarterback.
Yeah, that's
to
a great
start.
point.
If they go all in to get Derek Carr, Geno Smith, Matthew Stafford, even Kirk Cousins, I could see them then saying, okay, we still love Shedeur Sanders, but he can sit on the bench. We've got a starter, or Cam Ward, and let him, like the Falcons did with Michael Penix. Or they could say, okay, now we've got a guy for a couple, 3 years. Let's develop Jalen Milroe or Jackson Dart, or that's what I don't know. And they shouldn't be telling anybody that stuff.
Right.
Because if they have, everybody's with Ward and Sanders, if they have Ward and Sanders about the same as Milroe and Dart, then it doesn't matter. You don't need to pick them at 2.
Right.
But if they think that either one of those guys can be the guy, you go get them. Even if it's just one of them. Say it's Cam Ward. They don't really want Sanders. Well, then you got to do what you got to do to get to 1. You don't want to be sitting at 2 and go, we missed out by 1 guy. If that's your guy. Same way if it's the other way with Sanders. But if they both say, both these guys, we'd be happy with either of them, you sit there and you take them.
Yeah.
because you trade down no guarantee you get anything. The only guarantee is that you get one out of the top 2 that you have on your board. I like the Abdul Carter idea. I like the Travis Hunter. He talked about him today and kind of sold me a little.
Yeah,
I know Andrew
same.
Berry is big on premium positions. Look in his 5 years. He's drafted 5 wide receivers in 5 years.
Yeah.
Hasn't been the greatest. They've all been 3rd round or lower.
Well, yeah.
He's also drafted cornerbacks, I think, every year. So here's a guy that can plug in both positions. He called him a wide receiver. So now you got your anchor opposite Denzel Ward, who you've been looking for, to go along with at least your 3rd wide receiver, if not your 2nd wide receiver.
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay. But then that is if you don't think, because you got to bump the quarterback up if you think they're the guy. I mean, Bo Nix got picked 12, but if he's the franchise quarterback with Denver, they could have took him at 2 and been happy. Same thing here. Even if Ward's ranked as the 12th best player in the draft, I don't know, but you think he can be the franchise, then you take him at 2. So that's where I don't know is how they look at, say, the top 4 or 5 quarterbacks.
All right, Fred, one last thing before we let you out of here. You said you sat and listened to the Mike Vrabel press conference, and that got Cleveland Browns fans going because let's just say there's a certain Browns reporter that put out a story and a tweet about it that really got people going, because one of the things Mike Vrabel said was, we really just never got into a conversation in Cleveland about any kind of permanent coaching situation, any kind of permanent coaching position. I was never offered that. And Mike Vrabel made it a point to say, I would have listened if they would have offered. Everybody freaked out about that comment in Cleveland today.
There's a little bit more I know a little more about that story, or behind the scenes from Vrabel. And it's my understanding that when he took the job, that he didn't want, if there was a firing involved, he didn't want to be considered.
So you mean in Cleveland?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So
don't come in here by request of the head coach and then take his job.
I like that. Here's the other thing, though. He made those comments, but people got really upset. Like, how could the Browns not have talked to him about that? And like you said, there were probably understandings outside of that. But also, the minute he got offered the New England job, he wasn't going to say no to that. He wasn't going to say, you know what? Yeah. I'm going to take this. I'm going to take this assistant coaching job with the Browns. So sorry, New England. Like this was the plan with him all the way through. He was going to be an assistant with the Browns this year and work his way back into a head coaching job for the upcoming year. It worked out exactly the way it was planned. Am I wrong in that? Like, it feels like that worked out exactly the way it was supposed to work out.
He took over basically as the offensive line coach second half of the season, and he wanted to go to a great situation. And even if he was interested in the Browns position and it was offered, it isn't the greatest situation without a rookie quarterback like Drake May, and they have unlimited money. And so they can really build around him because you got that quarterback in his rookie contract. So and he played there, and that's why I think one of the reasons the Kraft fired the guy after 1 year was Mayo, was because Vrabel's available and he's interested, and that's who I want,
Yeah.
And, so that had something to do with it. But no, I mean, I didn't see that. I didn't see anybody, but there's so many writers from some outlets that they have to come up with stories, because it's like sometimes the general manager doesn't say a whole lot and we got to write 10 stories about this. But, Yeah, I didn't take it that way. I was saying during the season when the season was going down the tubes, fire Stefanski, fire to Stefanski. I was saying I would not fire him unless you already have lined up that Mike Vrabel on staff, that he would be willing to take the job because you got him in-house. Don't do this thing that we've seen him do for so many years. Fire the coach with the eyes. We're going to go name the candidate who's supposed to be the hottest candidate. And then they go, not interested. And then you end up with the seventh choice on your list, like Mike Pettin or Rob Chinziski. No disrespect, but you know what I'm saying. Those weren't who they were going after. And they got you don't ask. I'm been in sales a long time. You don't ask a question unless you know the answer before you ask the question. And you don't fire your coach before you got somebody lined up or know what you're going to do. That would be a better situation. And that was the only situation I thought was Vrabel. If you're really going to do that, you got him. Don't let him go in the open market, So I don't think he would have interviewed or take it, as I understand anyway, because of in deference to him feeling allegiance to come in and help out and have the year, with the Browns. So yeah, it worked out great. He's happy. And so it's good to see.
Well, Fred Greetham, man, this has been awesome. We appreciate you jumping on live from Indianapolis at the Draft Combine. Man, make sure you're following Fred at Fred Greetham9 on Twitter, because he's going to be bringing you all kinds of stuff along with Brad and Noah out there at the Draft Combine. Fred, have a great time, man. Enjoy watching everything go down. Enjoy being a part of the show as you haven't been over the last few years. And we look forward to all the news you're going to break and all the stuff you're going to write about the Combine this week. Appreciate you, man.
Yeah, thanks. Check in tomorrow night. I have OBR Weekly. I'll have everything that happens tomorrow at 7:00.
Maybe make Brad and Noah do a 40 in shorts just for kicks.
All right, sounds good. Thanks, guys. Good night.
Hey, how about Fred Greetham live from Indianapolis? Man, that was cool. That was it's awesome here at the OBR that we've got 3 guys out there covering the Draft Combine. But Fred's been doing it for a long, long, long time. And to just kind of have him on to talk about it was great. So listen, before we get off the Browns, because I want to talk about other stuff here, Chad. You reminded me that it was about a month ago. We did our first Garage Beers NFL mock drafts.
Yeah. Yep.
And we said we would kind of update that. We'd do it maybe like once a month.
Sure.
Until draft time. And it's been about a month.
Yeah.
And so, what we're going to do is we're going to do our next version.
Let's go through it.
The OBR Garage Beers mock drafts here on the show. And so give me a minute. I'm going to pull up the screen here.
You got it.
I'm going to get it.
You got it.
Oh, what is that? What is that?
Yeah.
All right. Hold on. I got to pull it up over there. All right, we see it here. So we're going to do the same thing. We're not doing a 7 round. I don't care who the 216th pick is.
Yeah, we just did 4 rounds.
4 rounds. We're going to make it fast. And Chad, same thing, man. You can propose a trade if you want. You can accept a trade if you want. We're just going to roll with whatever happens, okay?
Yeah, you got it, man.
So, Chad, this is your draft.
You got it. Here we are. Let's go. Let's do this.
I'm going to hit start. Tennessee takes Shedeur Sanders. So here's your trade offer.
No,
the Cowboys are giving up a bunch next year and then a 5th this year.
Absolutely not.
I'm just going to reject that right off the bat. The 49ers giving up 11, 43, 138, 2 7th rounders, and then a 3rd and a 6th for 2.
Nope.
We're going to reject that.
Yep.
And the Texans are giving up a whole bunch next year.
Yeah, absolutely not.
All right. So who are we taking it to?
Whew. Okay. Yeah. I'm just not sold on either of these top quarterbacks. Being franchise changers, Abdul Carter. Just give me Abdul Carter.
Abdul Carter goes to the Browns at number 2 in Chad Myers' second mock draft.
Just a game wrecker. I'd rather have the game wrecker. Ooh.
Oh my God, this could not have worked out better. Okay. So for some reason, Emeka Egbuka doesn't get drafted in the first round. So do we need to even look further? Or
No, nope.
Yep. Okay. We'll just go ahead and take Egbuka.
Moving on.
Draft and move on. All right.
Running to the podium.
I mean, that couldn't have worked out better for you. Okay.
I mean, he could not be a more perfect slot receiver to Jerry Jeudy.
Oh, I know. Do you want? Well, why would you want to do this? We're only doing fourth. Yep. No.
Nope. Okay.
Are you interested in this?
I am interested in that.
So it's the Browns would be giving up 67 to the Cardinals for 78, 114, and a sixth next year.
Okay. Is that the last offer?
Yep.
Okay, why not? Let's do it.
I think that's a really good trade.
Yeah, why not? For shits and giggles. For sheets and giggles.
Hold on. I want to see. Hold on. I'm going to go backwards for a minute.
Oh, Caleb Johnson. Take him.
So the Cardinals took Norman Lott, the defensive lineman from Tennessee. Okay.
Yeah, Caleb Johnson.
Oh, my God. Look at who you have available. You have Caleb Johnson. Xavier Watts even. Listen, the Browns are getting rid of Juan Thornhill.
Yeah.
Xavier would be so beautiful.
Yeah.
Arroyo and Fannin, gorgeous. Like, this whole situation is beautiful.
There's going to be a best 2 out of 3 coin flip in that war room if this happens. But so I'm just going to take Caleb Johnson.
Caleb Johnson.
Yeah.
Your draft is beautiful so far. It
really is.
All right. I'm rejecting this for you.
Yeah. Nah.
And I'm rejecting this for you. Okay. So at 94, you can go offensive tackle, Emory Jones out of LSU. You just took a running back. I doubt you're going to back-to-back it right now.
Yeah, nope.
You've got Schlesinger out of UCLA, Kyle Kennard, Savion Williams. Going.
Give me the offensive line help.
You want the offensive line help?
I want the offensive lineman. I want Emory Jones.
All right, Emory Jones. So we're going to grab an offensive lineman at 94. No.
Nope.
I'm rejecting these for you because they involve 5th and 6th and whatever rounders, and we're not doing it.
Nope.
So you've got 2 picks left.
Ooh.
Do you have like a position you want to address here, or are we just looking at best available?
I mean, I think right now would be the perfect time to take one of these mid-round quarterbacks. So, give me Will Howard. I like Will Howard over Quinn Ewers.
So you got Ewers, Howard, Gabriel, Rourke. You want Will Howard?
Yep.
All right. Will Howard off the board. And then we're just gonna reject everything here because it's the last pick, and we're gonna go back to all. And at 114, which you picked up in that trade, what a great trade that was, by the way.
Hell yeah!
Hell yeah! What are we looking for here?
Let's add linebacker depth in Barrett Carter. I think Barrett Carter is going to be
Barrett Carter. I think Barrett Carter is going to be an absolute stud.
Yeah, so do I.
An absolute stud.
Mm-hmm.
So your draft finishes up 2 Abdul Carter, 33 Emeka Egbuka. You traded out and you picked up 78 and 114. You picked up Johnson, Emory Jones Jr., Will Howard, and Barrett Carter.
I would take that all day. All day.
Dude, I got to tell you, that is spectacular.
Picture perfect, in my opinion.
That was great.
Yeah.
That was great. All right, I'm going to do mine. So we're going to restart it. We're going to go back Cleveland.
Let's go.
4 rounds. And we're going to make it fast.
Fast.
So let's go into the draft room. Maybe. I'm clicking it. It's just not going. There we go. And we're going to start. And Tennessee takes Cam Ward. So the Jets want to give me 7 and 92. The Jags want to give me 570 and 125.
Oh.
The Raiders, no. That was a terrible offer. Hold on, what'd I miss? Oh, third, no.
Yeah.
I mean, I like 13 and 48, but nah.
Sure.
You know what? I'm going to do the trade down route too, and why would I not take this one? Jacksonville, come on up, buddy.
Yeah, go ahead. Nope.
The Eagles want to trade. Look at the Eagles trade their entire draft. No. Okay. So let's see who got taken.
Still get Abdul Carter at 5 or Hunter. Wow.
Jacksonville came up to take Mason Graham, which
Or
is
Ted
fucking
McMillan?
hilarious. The Giants obviously take Shedeur. And actually, I think if anybody was going to come up, they were going to take Abdul Carter. You're not trading up to take Mason Graham.
No. Why would you?
So I'm going to try to realistically address this.
Okay.
I think Jacksonville could jump up to take Abdul Carter.
Sure.
Mason Graham would still be on the board.
I mean, either one of them like provides the pass rush help they need.
If Mason Graham was still on the board and Abdul Carter was off, because that's how I think that would go.
Right.
I'm going to go ahead and take Travis Hunter.
Okay.
I feel like people are trying to talk themselves out of this dude.
But no.
He is spectacular.
He's elite at multiple things.
Yes, please. Thank you. Please, thank you, and yes.
Right. No. Ew.
Yep. Nope. And nope. So now we got Travis Hunter. Now, you heard Andrew Berry say they view Travis Hunter as a wide receiver. And so he's primarily going to play offense with spatterings of defense, right?
Yeah.
So as I look at who's available, I like Colston Loveland a lot.
He's yes.
But look at this right here. This is one of the other premier pass rushers in this draft.
And who knows him better than you?
And he's also young.
Right.
And plenty of room to develop. So go ahead and give me the Aggie at 33. Put him across from Myles Garrett, who they're going to re-sign. And I will take that start. Again, they have Travis Hunter listed as quarterback. I'm going to view him as a wide receiver. The Panthers want to give me 74 and 110. I probably am going to take that.
All right.
So we're going to trade down. So now we have, I'm not even going to look at these anymore because, Christ, how many picks can we make?
Yeah.
We have 70 and 74.
So
that is awesome. And so now I'm sitting here looking, and you got some wide receivers.
I don't like
but again,
I do not like him.
Travis Hunter is a wide receiver.
Right. Just keep that in mind. Well, for the Browns, he's a wide receiver. Keep that in mind, everyone, when you're looking at this.
Yeah, well, and maybe he'll be a part-time defensive player.
Right.
I love this dude out of Purdue, Marcus Mbo. I think he's instant offensive line help. So I'm taking him right there.
Okay.
I'm not looking at any more trades. This is wild. And then I'm looking around and I'm seeing a lot of players that I like still. But I'm going to go ahead and grab that. I'm going to do what you did, Chad. I'm going to grab that offensive line help, but I'm going to grab it out of Jonah Savayanea out of Arizona.
Okay.
Because the Browns need depth everywhere.
They need depth, especially along the offensive line.
So I'm going back-to-back offensive linemen.
Okay.
Now we've got this situation. 94 and get excited because I love Cam Scatterbo.
Oh God.
Give him to me. Give him to me.
I mean, just a football player, right? There's like you don't really have good explanations for the guys who are just football players,
Correct.
Right? They're just football players.
Correct. No, I'm not going to draft any more offensive linemen, although I love Tate Ratledge. If you've never seen a picture of him, please, God, go look at him. He's awesome. I'm looking through the list of players that are available. And knowing that Travis Hunter is going to be more of a wide receiver than a corner, I'm going to be tempted at defensive back. And I'm going to go get this dude out of Ohio State, Denzel Burke.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
They hate it because they think the system thinks I already took a corner, but I think Travis Hunter is a wide receiver.
Well, could that also be like because Burke had a very down year this year? He did not help.
He did until the end, but
he did not help his stock at all coming back.
I think Denzel Burke is awesome.
All right, fair enough.
He's awesome. So now is where we get weird.
Let's get weird.
Now's where we get weird. We've got an edge. Here's my thing. I don't want a quarterback in this draft. Here's the thing. This is my realistic take on this draft. There isn't one quarterback that I want. I don't want any of them. I don't want Shedeur. I don't want Cam Ward. I don't want Jalen Milroe. I don't want Will Howard. I don't want Gabriel. I don't want any of them.
You don't want Shedeur?
I don't think any of them are any good.
Run on Shedeur.
Listen, if they pick a quarterback, I'm going to be hopeful that it's somewhat good. I don't think any of these guys are all that good. Choice. Right. I don't think any of these guys are all that good.
Yeah.
So I'm not taking one.
See, I think
my mock draft for the OBR hits tomorrow. I'm going to give you a spoiler. I do not take a quarterback.
See, I think these guys
anywhere
are good
in the draft.
I think these guys are good, but none of these guys are like franchise changers, right? None of them.
Yeah. I don't. You're wishing on a wing and a prayer that you're drafting a franchise changer. I don't want that. So instead, at this point of the draft, again, I really like this kid out of Penn State, Kevin Winston Jr. The Browns are going to need some safety help, so I'm going to take him here.
Okay, so let me ask you this then. Well, actually, you know what? Make your last pick, and then I'll ask you.
Okay. So a lot of good players available. There's a couple I see right off the bat here that I like a lot. Actually, this kid, I'm not going to draft him right here because I've drafted a lot of offensive linemen, but I love Ozzie Trapilo. He's one of my favorite, maybe my top 5 favorite players in the draft is this kid right here out of Boston College. But I'm not doing it. I'm looking. And I don't see anything jumping off of me. I'm not going to make reaches. So we're going to come back over here. And we're going to keep going defense. I really like Chris Paul Jr. out of Ole Miss. So we're going to take Chris Paul Jr. The linebacker position is something that might need addressed depending on what on earth is going on with JOK. And I think Chris Paul Jr. is a good way to address it. So I went Travis Hunter, who's going to play primarily wide receiver, but also play defense. I went Big Nick out of Texas A&M to go across from Myles Garrett. 2 offensive linemen here that I think really shore things up.
Yeah.
Cam Scatabo, Denzel Burke. I love Burke. Give me Denzel Burke, Denzel Ward. Hit me with the Denzels. And then give me that safety help in the mid rounds and Chris Paul Jr. I feel good about that.
Yeah, it's a nice draft. I mean, it's definitely a nice draft. I think what I wanted to ask you was, right? So I get it. I totally get your thinking behind the quarterbacks in this draft, right? Like I just want to preface this by saying that. What are your in your mind? What are your plans going for quarterback going forward then? Right, because you can't bank on being in a position to take one of the top ones next year.
The more I think about this,
the
more I think about this, the more I think if I was running the Browns this year and maybe for the next 3 years, I really would like for them to make a run at Derek Carr.
Okay.
He's the guy I want the most. I know he's not Pat Mahomes. I know he's not the elite of the elite quarterbacks.
Okay.
But I think he has shown he consistently on bad teams shows that he can be a good player.
Okay.
And I think the Browns have a good roster. I know people want to argue with that after last year. But I think the Browns have a good roster, and I think that roster can become really good after the draft and free agency. I would love to see them grab Derek Carr and put him on a good roster and watch what he can do on a good roster.
Okay. All right.
And I think that roster includes what they have right now. I think it includes again, like in my draft, it was Travis Hunter, or maybe you trade down and you take Ted McMillan or
Sure.
somebody explosive like that. And
And
maybe
Lord
you
knows the
work
Browns
out
lack explosive
you
guys on
work out the
offense.
running backs, and I don't know. I think there is a way. I'm not sold on any of these prospects in the draft.
Sure.
So give me a guy that's shown that he can win games on bad teams. Like Derek Carr has won a lot of games on kind of mediocre teams. Give me Derek Carr on a decent roster with a good coaching staff, and let's roll with that.
Okay. All right. Hey, listen.
And if it's not Derek Carr, dude, if it's not Derek Carr, give me Kirk Cousins, give me Geno Smith. There's a lot of those kind of mid-level quarterbacks available that I think the Browns can win a lot of games with.
And that's what I keep telling people, because a lot of people are asking me at work, like, what do you think? Would you take Shador? Do you take that? Like, honestly, and this is where you're at as a Browns fan, anything is better than what you've had the last 3 years.
Correct.
Anything is
anything.
Like, even if they sign Daniel Jones, you know what I'm going to say? It sucks, but you know what? It's better than what we've had the last 3 years.
Dude, I legitimately think we can win a lot of games with Daniel Jones.
Yeah. We can win so many more games with Daniel Jones than what we've had.
I know people hate this, but there are names out there that I would actually kind of get excited about Daniel Jones. I would get, you want to know the name out there that I would get like kind of weirdly excited about, because I don't think he's ever gotten a fair shot. I would get a little excited about Zach Wilson.
Sure.
I know. Listen, don't get me wrong. I don't expect him to come in and throw for 5,000 yards and 40 touchdowns. But do I think, like, in the right circumstances, this dude could come in and be a good quarterback? Yes.
1,000% yes.
I do. Yes, I do. And I am still a full-on believer in Kevin Stefanski. So give me a dude and let Kevin Stefanski get his hands on him. And I'd be pretty okay with that.
All right.
I would rather have them use their number 2 draft pick or trade out of it. But I'd rather have them get a guy that I'm very confident is going to be a game-breaking player. I am very confident that Travis Hunter, I know people are worried about him because they don't know how to use him.
Yeah.
But I'm very confident that he's a game-breaking player. I'm very confident that Abdul Carter is a game-breaking player. I'm very confident there's a lot of really top-of-the-line game-breaking talent at the top of this draft. Yeah. Give me one of those guys. I don't want to just hope that Shedeur Sanders or Cam Ward might be good.
You know, and that's the thing. You know what? I don't have a hard stance on a rookie quarterback or a veteran quarterback, Mike. This is the first time in 25 years since they've been back. I don't have a hard stance because literally, like I just said, anything is going to be better than what we've had. So you give me anybody. Give me fucking Tanner McKee, the guy for the beloved guy from the Philadelphia. Anybody. No, right. I'm completely open-minded at the quarterback position right now.
What's Charlie Fry doing?
Sure. He's up at Central Michigan coaching or down at Florida A&M, something. I don't know. I would take him back in a heartbeat.
Let's go. All right, let's get off the Browns and let's move on and let's go into our Garage Beers of the Week. I'll be honest with you, Chad.
We've already had our Garage Beers of the Week, Mike.
Well, I'm sorry, our Asshole of the Week.
Are you drunk?
I'll be honest with you, Chad. I did not anticipate coming into this. I don't want Kenny Pickett, DeAndre. I do not want Kenny Pickett. The guy sucks. Nope.
But he's better than what we've had.
But he sucks.
Connie's. Small hands smell like cabbage.
I was not anticipating talking NFL for an hour.
Yeah, me neither. But
we just did it.
It's okay, though, because you know why? You know why? Our special interview is going to be all about the Stadium Series. So
and I'm going to announce it soon. But let's do our Asshole of the Week, and then we'll move on to a little hockey and basketball talk. So go ahead, Chad. Who's your Asshole of the Week this week?
Just dudes who bang other dudes' wives. I mean, I know I mentioned it earlier, but that's like, yeah, that's probably my asshole of the week. Yeah, it's a lot easier to get divorced than just go through all that drama. So yeah, dudes bang other dudes' wives, and vice versa. Vice versa, by the way. It's not just a dude thing.
That's fair.
Yeah.
I don't remember who my asshole was last week. Do you remember?
I don't know. I don't keep track.
I'm trying
I
to
should start
avoid
keeping a log.
I'm trying to avoid a repeater, and I
Who
don't
was
know.
Mike's asshole?
I don't. Ooh, no. I'm trying to avoid a repeater, and I don't know if this came up last week or not. But so I'm just going to bring it up again. So the Browns did this thing with the influencer group, or I don't remember what they fucking called it. And listen, because
the influencer committee.
Yeah, because it's the Browns, it's always kind of lame because they don't do anything fucking cool. They always make everything kind of lame. But I gotta tell you, man, the hate that these people have received for being like selected as like the influencer committee people.
Right.
So my asshole of the week, and to me, it's being led. I know people loved what happened today. It's being led by Daryl Ryder today. I think it's so lame that people are giving these people a hard time for being part of this influencer committee. The influencer committee doesn't actually mean anything.
No,
but it's a way for the Browns to have a little outreach to people who like spend time talking about the Browns. And I don't know why people are so upset about this. And I'm looking online and I'm like, maybe the Browns should be concentrating on like finding better players instead of the influencer committee. And it makes me want to pull my hair out of my head because it's like, you do know that there are not everybody that works for the Browns is responsible for putting players on the field, right? Like the vast majority of Browns employees are responsible for like getting butts in the seats and like community outreach and social media outreach and like the Browns are so much as an organization. It's so much bigger than just player personnel and what that department does. And so, yeah, you can be mad about what they do on the field, but like, there's nothing wrong with them making this committee. Do I think there's like a little lameness to it? Yes. That jacket was gross, but like we've had Chef Zay on the show a few times. He's a really good dude. He loves the Cleveland Browns. And to be honest, his content is great. He does great shit for the Browns. Why are we mad about this? Just let a fun thing be a fun thing.
They can't.
Yeah, the Browns suck, and they have sucked for 20 years. Doesn't mean they can't do fun things with their fans. This is just a fun thing.
I'm not saying I don't agree with you, but just to play devil's advocate for a second, this is a trickle-down effect. This is a trickle-down effect of the team just being dog shit for the majority of the last 25 years. You know, if this team put together a consistent product on the field, right, or a more consistent product on the field than it hasn't for the last 25 years, I think people would be a little bit more open to it. But if not, since it hasn't been, people are going to find any way they possibly can to nitpick at this. And it's it. I agree with you. It should be a fun thing, but it's just not. Everybody has soured so much in this organization, and rightfully so, Mike, and rightfully so. I feel bad for the employees who have to deal with this, right? Like for instance, I got an email from I will not mention the Browns employee name. I got an email from this unnamed Browns employee saying, "Oh, you're trying to convince me to get in on season tickets."
Oh, I know. I got that email too. Nah.
Nope. Sorry. I mean, with where you're at, right? I know you have a job to do, but I and this is how I responded. I said, I know you have a job to do. I respect you, and I don't want to be too mean to you. But over the last 25 years, with the way the last 25 years have gone, you should be paying me for season tickets.
Yeah, listen. I think the other thing, especially for me, is like, I don't think a Browns beat reporter needs to be coming after fans.
No, absolutely not.
What are you
No.
doing?
Nope.
Why are you coming after fans?
Yeah, no, I
Like
completely
Chef
agree.
Zay is a fan, and he's like, Daryl Ryder posted this thing of like a bucket, like a water bucket, and it was like, here's a bucket to collect, like to carry water for the Browns. Bitch, he's a fan. Why are you acting like this?
Right.
Why are you mad that they did this? This is separate from team thing. This is like community outreach.
Sure.
And every team needs to do something like this. And to be honest with you, I'll pull back the curtain on you guys significantly. I have bitched and complained about the Browns because they have been so bad at this. The Browns have been so bad at community outreach, and we as a podcast, they treat podcasts like dirt.
Yeah.
To the Browns.
Yep.
They act like we are subhuman. Look at what we have established with like the Blue Jackets.
Sure.
Or even to an extent with the Guardians and the Cavs.
Sure.
But every time we reach out to the Browns, it's like we get hung up on.
Right.
Because they think, oh my God, alternative media, alternative podcasts, whatever. They're not the real media. The Browns are really bad at this. So to see them like make a move into this, I was like, all right, maybe somebody in that room understands that like not everybody wants to listen to the 78-year-old dude on the radio who doesn't know what the fuck he's talking about, talk about the Browns. I'm so tired of this old school way that things have to get taken care of.
Right.
And covered. It is obnoxious. So for me, I like what the Browns did. I think it's cool, and I hope they build on it. And I think it's lame as fuck that these people that get paid to cover the Browns are like attacking the fans that are a part of this for no reason.
Yeah.
Oh, here's your bucket to carry water for the Cavs. Yeah, bitch, I'm a fan. Shut the fuck up.
Yeah. No, I completely agree with you on that part. But I just think this is as far as from a franchise standpoint, I think this is it's a little too late for them to do this, especially after the season that they had. Yeah, I think it's a little too late. And I think that's why people are lashing out at this.
Yeah, maybe. But to me, the asshole of the week aren't necessarily fans lashing out. It's the media. It's the people.
Yeah, for sure.
It's the people that get paid to cover the Browns that are like lashing out at the fans that are a part of this.
For sure.
Shut up. Go do your job and leave the fans alone. All right. So, Chad, I want to go to a more positive topic.
Let's go.
It's already
Come on.
And Jesus Christ.
But
let's
go to Columbus and get hammered and go to a game.
Hey, Chad, you want to go to a hockey game on Saturday?
Yeah, sure the hell I do. Hell yes.
Hey, Chad, do you want to go to this hockey game on Saturday?
You're damn right I do. Oh, look at that beautiful thing. Ugh.
Saturday, March 1st, the Stadium Series for the first time ever.
Come on.
For the first time ever.
I love there isn't a thing about this that I don't love.
Is going to be played at the Horseshoe. Ohio Stadium is going to play host to the Stadium Series as the Columbus Blue Jackets will take on the hottest team in hockey right now, the Detroit Red Wings, in a game with massive playoff implications.
Oh, yeah.
And it's all happening at the home of the Ohio State Buckeyes, the Horseshoe. And look at what this shit is going to look like.
Yeah.
Chad Meyer and I are going to be in the building.
Yep.
The Garage Beers podcast is going to be in the building along with some of the other awesome podcasts that cover the Columbus Blue Jackets and the other fans that cover the Jackets.
Down in Columbus, by the way, we're the only Cleveland podcast. We're the only Northeast Ohio podcast that covers the Blue Jackets.
You're damn right. And Chad, could you be more excited?
No, absolutely not. I mean, look at that fucking fucking thing. Are you kidding me? We're going to have the Ohio State band at one end. We're going to have a stage at the other end where 21 Pilots is going to perform at one of the intermissions. And just, I don't know. Everything about this is just a home run. A home run for the NHL with the way this is set up right now.
Dude,
the only thing I'm worried about, honestly, is if we're going to be able to actually see the game.
Who cares though? You'll see it on the screen.
Yeah. Well,
actually,
that's
so our seats are going to be over like where the flagpole is, kind of to the left over here.
Yeah, right in the corner.
And I will tell you, the first time I ever went to one of these outdoor games was the Winter Classic in Pittsburgh when Washington Capitals played the Penguins.
Right.
And that's basically where my seats were.
Right.
And you can see it fine enough.
Yeah. Yeah. But honestly, that's just nitpicking. I don't care. I'm excited.
Oh, guys, this is going to be amazing.
Yeah.
The tailgates during the day.
Yeah.
Which we will be a part of. So we're gonna come back to this. Hold on one second. So I want to tell you why you should be excited to like follow Garage Beers through this whole weekend. Friday, I'm going to make the announcement right now, Chad.
Let's go.
If you're a Blue Jackets fan, you better be locked in right the fuck now. Friday, we're going to release an interview that we are doing this week with this gentleman right here.
Goodbranson.
Eric Goodbranson, Blue Jackets defenseman, who is back, basically.
Yeah.
We are talking to Eric Goodbranson, and we're gonna get all of his input. What'd you say?
The Canadian Viking, baby.
We're gonna get all of his input on the Jackets, the playoff push, the Stadium Series. This interview with Eric Goodbranson is coming out on Friday. It's a special interview, a special episode. So on Friday, you better be ready for Garage Beers because Eric Goodbranson coming at you on Friday. And then Saturday again, we're going to be in Columbus and we're going to spend all day doing like man on the street interviews with Jackets fans, with other Jackets podcast hosts, with Jackets reporters and beat writers. We are going to be in depth on the entire Stadium Series game, including even after the game, drunkenly. We're going to have a good time.
We're going to have some competitions too. All right. Like Mike, I'm think it's going to be funny as hell to like if we can, because there's some hat trick challenges. Like if Mike and I can, like, we'll see, we're going to see if we can score a hat trick. Who's the fastest one to score a hat trick? There's going to be one of us like body checked up against the boards, right? Oh, well, both of us are going to get body checked against the boards.
I will destroy you.
There's going to be a slap shot. See how fast we can do a slap shot. And by the way, you're going to get killed. Yeah, there's going to be so many. There's going to be so much content coming out.
I'm a big Fulton Reed guy. Big Fulton Reed guy.
You're a big what?
I said I'm a big Fulton Reed guy.
Oh yeah, 1 out of 5. So you're going to suck. Yeah. It's just a lot of exciting stuff upcoming here over the next few days.
Listen, bottom line is, I do want to say this. There are still tickets available to this.
Not many.
There's not many, and they might not be great seats. But you have an opportunity to get in the building at Ohio Stadium at the Horseshoe to watch the Columbus Blue Jackets. Again, we're talking about a Blue Jackets team that tonight came off of a massive win over the Dallas Stars.
Yes.
And a Blue Jackets team, I'll be honest with you, Chad. Let's take this down for a minute. Let's talk about the actual Blue Jackets.
Sure.
The health of the Blue Jackets is outrageous right now.
Oh, a lot of people.
When they went into the Four Nations break, they were missing so many guys. And they're almost all of them are back.
Right.
Boone Jenner is playing hockey for the Blue Jackets again. They are almost all back. Eric Goodbranson that we're going to be talking to. And they went out tonight and they took on one of the elite teams in the Western Conference, and they beat the shit out of them. I know it got close at the end.
Yeah, I don't know if they beat the shit out of them.
Yes, they did. Yes, they did. They were
no
winning.
lead is safe against the Dallas Stars. And,
no lead is safe, but the Blue Jackets won wire to wire.
They
wire to wire.
Yes, it was. They made it 4-1. The Stars came back 4-3, and after a nice tip in from JVR, with about 13 minutes to go in the third, Jackets were able to tighten up defensively, but then the Stars went empty net with 4 minutes to go in the third. 4 minutes to go in the third.
Yeah.
Made things interesting and was able
to. And the Jackets held on and won 6-4.
Pull it within 5-4, but they finally got that empty netter, that insurance goal that they needed, and won 6-4. And just a back and forth, just awesome hockey game. And it's just a testament to show where the state of the Jackets are right now.
It's a massive win. It's a massive win.
It is an absolute massive win. And I believe they're in the double digits now in scoring 6 goals at home right now. So it's the offense at home is just unreal. This is a Jackets team that the chemistry that they have, their togetherness, the fun that they're having. It's all a testament to Coach Evison. It's all a testament to these guys just coming together and buying in to each other this year. And even missing guys like Monahan, who was such a huge part to the Jackets' success.
Yeah.
He's been gone, and they've been able to either tread water or play good games as well, and still win and not lose any ground. So this is a Jackets team that is there. It's right there, guys. It is right there. Right now after the win tonight, they're tied for a wild card spot with the Detroit Red Wings, who are up 3-2 now in the third period against the Minnesota Wild
on Saturday.
And then they're playing again. They're playing the Wings on Thursday in Detroit.
Yeah,
they've got a home and home coming now in Detroit on Thursday and against Detroit on Saturday. So 2 huge games coming up for the Jackets this week. And it could, Mike. I can't tell you how much fun I'm having this season. Like the recaps that I've had to do over the last 3 years, I've lost any motivation to do it. But this year, man, it has been so much fun to be a Jackets fan and watch this team play. It really has.
Well, listen, we'll say this. We're going to be there in full force. I'm going to be there at like 10 o'clock in the morning on Saturday.
Yeah.
Chad, you're going to be there at like probably 2 o'clock in the afternoon.
2 o'clock, something like that.
Hit us up at the Garage Beers on Twitter. Let us know where you're at. If you're going to be there, let us know where you're tailgating. We'll come see you. Let us know where you're sitting. Let us know where you're at in the stands. We'll come hang out with you. But cannot wait. Again, I'm going to put it up one more time because, oh, my God, it's gorgeous.
Let's go. How
hockey at the Horseshoe. You cannot believe it. This is going to be great. So
that's just sexy. That's sexy.
Sexy.
Very sexual.
All right. Last thing, Chad, before we get out of here, because I do want to talk about this.
Sure.
We've got an NHL team that we cover that is fighting for a playoff spot.
Right.
And we have got an NBA team that we talk about and cover that is
just seems unstoppable.
Fucking steamrolling everybody right now.
Yeah.
The Cleveland Cavaliers are now 48-10.
Right.
Which, by the way, that 48 win total matches their season total from last year.
Yeah.
They are the number 1 team in the NBA.
Right.
They are the number 1 team in a lot of categories.
Right.
And even tonight, they go down to Orlando, and they beat Orlando by almost 40.
Yeah. A Darius Garland-less Cavs team, by the way.
Right. So here's a question that I have.
Yeah.
And I made a video about this, Chad, on TikTok. I don't know if you saw it.
Yeah, I did. I liked it. I hearted it.
I love you for that.
Yeah.
I keep seeing these Cavaliers, national and even local, to be honest with you,
Sure.
media people, and they're doing like, all right, here's my power rankings.
Yeah.
And every time I fucking see it, it's like number 1 Boston,
Yeah.
number 2 Oklahoma City, and then it's almost like they take a fucking break. And they're like, but those 2 teams are the teams to watch for the title. Those 2 teams. And then they go, and then there's the Cavs.
Right.
Chad, if you watch my video I made today, you know this. The Cavs aren't just the best team in the NBA.
Right.
Which they have been.
Right.
Best record in the NBA.
Sure.
But the Cavaliers have the best record against plus 500 teams in the NBA.
Right.
The Cavaliers are doing things against the best teams in the NBA that no other team is doing.
Right.
The Cavaliers, I keep seeing this. People are like, yeah, but the Cavs are like those Hawks teams of like Kyle Korver and Jeff Teague. And
Nope.
Those teams didn't have anybody like these guys on those teams.
Nope. Yeah, absolutely not.
Those Hawks teams never had Darius Garland. They never had Donovan Mitchell. Donovan Mitchell is the best team. He's the best player. If you combined all of them and put them together, Donovan Mitchell's the best player. Those Hawks teams never had Evan Mobley.
Right.
I don't know what is with the need to like put down this team. This is an incredible basketball team.
Right. Yeah, it's plain and simple. And I know you said this in your video. They haven't done it in the playoffs yet. They haven't done it in the playoffs.
Fair.
That's it. I think that's literally the only reason. I'm not saying that they're not going to be good in the playoffs. I'm not saying that they're not going to prove it. I just think that this team has yet to prove anything in the playoffs, and that's literally the only reason they have this team at 3 right now. Otherwise, there's no logical reason that this team should be below anybody at this point, right? I mean, and you kind of get Boston, right? Because Boston, reigning champs, they're not going to, it's their Eastern Conference, it's their championship until somebody knocks them off. The Cavs have not done that.
Boston's a team I don't disagree with anybody that's like, yeah, but you got to take out Boston. Yeah, they won the title last year.
Sure.
And the team is no different this year.
Right.
The same exact team this year.
Right.
So yes, there's no argument there.
Right.
But like acting like Oklahoma City is just like,
yeah, no,
Boston and Oklahoma City. And I'm like, what the fuck are you talking about?
Yeah. Honestly, if you had to kind of nitpick at something, right? If you had to kind of nitpick at something, the Cavs didn't win by much at home against Oklahoma City, and Oklahoma City boat raced them in Oklahoma City. Maybe that's it. I don't know.
But the Cavs won at home and Oklahoma City won at home.
Yeah, to me, the difference is just paper thin. It really is, because both Oklahoma City and the Cavs have to prove it in the playoffs. They have to. So I just think they're kind of just arbitrarily doing this right now, because neither of those two teams have proven anything in the playoffs at the moment.
My other issue with the whole power ranking thing, the Cavaliers have won 12 of their last 13 games.
Yeah, I know.
And most of those games are by vastly double-digit margins.
Right.
The Cavaliers were beating the Orlando Magic tonight by 40.
Right.
These games are not close.
And they ended up winning by 40.
However, Friday is going to be a good time.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Because the Cavaliers are going to Boston.
Right.
To play the Celtics.
Right.
And if they want to change the topic and change the narrative of how they're talked about, they can do it in Boston.
Right.
Go to Boston and beat the shit out of the Celtics.
And Boston's the place to do it, because the Celtics have been better on the road this year.
Well, but The Cavaliers lost to Boston in Boston.
Yeah.
They beat them in Cleveland.
Yeah.
Then they also lost to them in Cleveland.
Right.
And now they have a chance to redeem that loss.
Right. Right.
I am not ready. I think it is so over the top and weird to act like the Cavaliers aren't an elite team in the NBA. I don't care if you're Boston. I don't care if you're Oklahoma City. I don't care if you're Orlando or Miami or I don't care, Milwaukee or whatever. If you're about to line up against the Cavs in the playoffs, you have better bring your absolute A game.
Yeah, 100%.
Because this Cavs team is unbelievable.
Yeah, I mean, this Cavs team is sustainable. Again, there's no other logical reasoning for them to not get respect other than they just haven't done it in the postseason. I truly believe they're a completely different team than they have been in the last couple of years. I truly believe that. But until they show it in the postseason, I think you're just going to continue to see this.
I don't disagree. So,
yeah.
All right, listen, man. We are getting to the end of the show. We're at the end of the time frame, and it has been a great time. Again, this show, to be honest with you, we didn't really have a script for it.
Yeah.
Chad and I, if I pull back the curtain for you guys, Chad and I
we do that a lot.
The last 2 days to get a great guest on the show. And it didn't work out in the Blue Jacket sense, but man, did it work out in the Brown sense.
Yeah, sure did.
We got, and to be honest with you, I got to give a shout out to the dudes from the React because Fred wanted to jump onto the React.
Yeah.
But they did.
Right.
And I go, hey, Fred, do you want to talk about the Browns? And he was like, yeah, I'll come on with you.
Right. Right.
There it was. Fred Greetham was on with us talking Browns. So,
yeah.
Great night talking Browns with Fred Greetham from Indianapolis, from the Draft Combine. I'm very excited for this week to be over because I hate the Draft Combine. And I think so many people use what happens at the Combine to like act like that's going to be the evaluation point of a player, which is nonsense. But
yeah,
loved hearing from Fred at the Combine and what he's heard from the press conferences and all of that. Love talking about the Blue Jackets. And this weekend, it's going to be great. Love talking about the Cavs and all of that. The last thing we got to do is do our cheers of the week as we just cheer somebody that just deserves it for the week. So, Chad, why don't you give me your cheer of the week?
My cheers goes to the NHL. I mentioned it before, but man, that you nailed that Stadium Series setup, man. Just I cannot wait. Cannot wait.
You mean this one?
Yes, that's the one.
Let's go. Again, Chad and I will be there on Saturday. So if you're going to be there, make sure you say hi to us. Reach out, say hi. My cheer of the week is going to go out to a lot of people. Chad is going to be one of them. But look at Klinger called it. My buddy Dave Klinger-Smith called it. My wife gets the big cheer of the week. Listen, I turned 40 on Wednesday of last week. In and of itself, not a big deal. Although I do celebrate birthdays because the alternative to not having a birthday is to be dead. And I'm not really interested in that. So my wife threw me an incredible 40th birthday party. Klinger was there. Chad was there. We had an incredible time. Like just we had 75 people at my house. I don't know where Chad went. Probably just to the bathroom. But we had 75 people at my house. And I don't really care that it was for me. I mean, that's nice. That's cool. But we just had a great time. We had a great party. We had drinks and Jell-O shots, and the kids, We had a whole thing about the kids having a great time. We had, if I get this picture up, which I should do here. Oh, is that it? There it is. I'm going to put this up because this was me and Chad and the voice of the Cavaliers, Tim Alcorn. We had a great time there with Tim. Just spectacular night. And I know it was for me and my birthday, but to be honest with you, like, it just meant so much to me about the people that I care about and the people that I love, and that Katie invited them all over to our house. Again, we had 70 people at our house, and it was absolutely awesome. So, again, as Klinger said, because he was at the party, my cheers goes to Mrs. Keefe and everybody that came to celebrate. It was a great time. So that's going to do it. I don't know, maybe Chad left. I'm going to just take him out until we leave. But that is going to do it for us for tonight, for episode 252 of the Garage Beers podcast. Listen, I want to make sure we were very clear on this. We have got a special episode, a special interview that is going to drop on Friday with Eric Goodbranson from the Blue Jackets. We're going to talk to him about his kind of time recovering from injury and leading into this Stadium Series game. And we're going to talk about how deep this Blue Jackets team can make a run. It's all happening with Eric Goodbranson. It's going to be released on Friday of this week. So make sure you're ready for that as we get ready for the Stadium Series game. There it is right there, Eric Goodbranson joining us in the garage. Don't miss that. Come hang out with us if you're down in Columbus for the Stadium Series game. But otherwise, we're going to give our shout-outs here, and then we're going to get out. First of all, big shout-out to the OBR for hosting us, the Orange and Brown Report. I know that they love the Browns and that they love everything the Browns do, but they also have us on to just hang out and talk about all of our favorite sports. So shout out to the OBR. Shout out to Fred Greetham at Fred Greetham 9 for hanging out with us tonight and talking about the Browns at the draft combine. And shout out to all of you, everybody that joined us live tonight. If you didn't make it live tonight, make sure you go hang out with us on YouTube, on Twitch, on Apple, on Spotify, on iHeart, everywhere you get your podcasts or your videos. We are there. Make sure you come join us. Other than that, that's going to do it for us for episode 252. Until next week for episode 253, or really until Friday with our interview with Eric Goodbranson. We appreciate you. We love you. And we will see you next week. Until then, as always, cheers, and we'll see you next week.